system plays against you. So, because this appalls me, like instead of like working with a family, the system itself is working against you. So, this is what I'm seeing. So, you tried your best to stay with the program, and you said you used again. Your kids were lost to you, so you went. Somebody put you through 51A. Who was
Well,
51A?
the court, the hospital filed a 51A on me.
Okay.
I lied and said I used 1 day, so the amount of heroin and benzos that were in my system, they thought I tried to commit suicide. At least that's what I'm thinking. And so, anyways, that they filed a 51A on me, and instead of DCFs trying to see that I was trying to better myself, but it wasn't just that. I mean, maybe if it was just that, they wouldn't have took them. The person I left my kids with, although I had granted by DCF, and I had asked if, that I could leave my kids with him, I said I was going to go visit with my aunt. And they said it was fine. And he had people coming in and out of my house. They were smoking weed around my kids. DCF sat outside in the parking lot and watched him smoking weed, passing around the blunt while my kids were playing right there.
And this guy was baby's father?
No, he's my friend of mine.
So you trusted somebody you shouldn't have trusted.
Somebody I had known for a long time.
But you shouldn't, like what I'm asking.
I shouldn't have left them with him.
Yes. So now you learned your lesson.
Right. And
but at that time you didn't know any better.
Right. So so after losing the kids, I was devastated about the fact that I had lost them and I wanted to be comforted. So I ran back to one who I had ran from with the kids because the situation I could already tell was getting out of hand. And within a month, I went back to him. And I lost the kids in October. I went back to him December 1st. And then by January 3rd, I married him, thinking that
he will help you with the kids.
Well, or that it would prove to him that I loved him. That
In what way that thinking helps your kids? Like I'm trying to.
It wasn't. It was about selfishness.
So you were not paying attention to kids.
No. The kids were already gone.
So you were just trying to soothe yourself.
Right. So I ran.
So instead of focusing on their priorities.
So I'm focusing on what I needed to do to get them back. I ran back to him thinking that I would have comfort. I felt like I needed to have someone there to comfort me, to hug me, to tell me everything was going to be okay because I was so devastated that I lost them. That, I just wanted that comfort from him, but I didn't get it. Within 3 days after going back, he was already treating me worse, treating me the same way he was, but 20 times worse.
So why did you stay with him?
I don't know. I guess because I had got married a month after.
So even though in 3 days you knew he was not good for you,
I married him because I thought that it would stop the abuse. I figured that he would see that I was for him, that I would not go anywhere.
So you thought he was like your ultimate answer to life's problem.
Well, I knew in the back of my head he wasn't.
So for some reason your thinking is all screwed up.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this relationship lasts how long?
I married him January 3rd of 2015, and I had been with him on and off for about a year.
I know. At what point the caseworker tells that you are really bad and
caseworker, she didn't like one. She didn't like the fact that I ran back to him because so I married him in January. By the time February hit, I ran away.
And you knew the custody battle was coming.
It wasn't adoption. It was reunification was on the table.
So you, for some reason, thought that was going to go through, and you didn't even think of the consequences.
No, I didn't think it was gonna. There was things I had to do to get the kids back.
So you feel you were doing all the right thing?
No, I knew I wasn't doing the right thing. I knew I wasn't.
So at what point did you realize you were doing all the wrong thing?
I knew right away I was doing the wrong thing.
So why did you keep doing it?
Because I was being selfish. Because I wanted to.
So when did it stop?
I finally really, really got up and got away on August 4th of 2016.
So it took you 1.5 or more than one year and 18 months it took you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then, this is 18 months, more than that. 12 plus 8 is like 20 months.
No, 18. January 3rd for August 4th. That's a year and a half. Year and a half, because my son was.
Because if January
Oh yeah,
15,
no. Yeah, so it was longer. You're right.
8, so that'll be 20 months.
Yeah.
20 months. And by this time, you had another child with him.
By this time, yes, I had one child with him. It's my
One
only child.
And what I'm understanding, because this you told me before, you were so devastated you couldn't even bond with your child by this time.
Right.
Because you lost custody of. By what time does the custody loss happens?
Well, I lost custody before I got with him. Before I went back to him.
See, the reunification was on the table.
Oh yes. That. Okay. So
at what point?
Reunification turned off the table around the time that I got pregnant with my son.
That would be when?
May of 2016.
So that means like 12 plus 5 is 12 plus 5 is 17. 17 months?
Something like
17 months. That's when they decided not to reunite.
Well, no. It was a year after. It was like in October of 2015 was when the
so 10 months later.
So a year later. A year after they were taken, 10 months after I got with them.
So which means October of 2015.
Yeah.
And what brought the loss of custody? Like what brought the loss of reunification? What was the turning point?
Because I wasn't giving them urines. I wasn't making all my visits because either I'd have a black eye, so I couldn't go.
So you were protecting your husband?
I was protecting myself. Yeah, I was protecting him. Yeah. I was protecting him.
And what was going through your mind? What is it that made you want to protect him?
It wasn't, well, I was scared. I was scared of leaving.
Why?
I felt because it wasn't that easy just to get up and walk away because it was, he monitored every little thing that I did.
So he stalked you?
Well, he made it impossible. Like, he always either thought I was sleeping with my neighbor, or if people would randomly walk down the street and he'd be like, okay, you know them. I know you know them. I'm like, how do you know that I know them?
So you were controlled by him mind-wise. Your mind was totally controlled by him.
Mentally, yes, and physically, too.
So then the DCF worker sees that you're totally screwed up, I would assume.
Right.
So she says, okay, no reunification is possible.
Right.
And how did you take it?
Terrible. I was devastated.
So what did you do about it? By feeling terrible, what did you do?
I didn't do anything. I just sat in my own wallowed in my own sorrow.
So then how long did that process go on?
So by August 4th is when I finally got up and walked away.
So it took you almost a year.
I ran away 3 times from the time I married him. I ran away 3 times.
And what happened? How did he end up going back?
Well, in the first time I ran away, I was at a Suboxone clinic, and the person who owned the Suboxone clinic got me out, took me away, and put me on a train, gave me $20, put me on a train. We called for placement.
Like almost like a witness protection or something.
No, like a domestic violence program.
Okay.
And so I went there.
You changed your cell phone and other stuff.
Well, I didn't have a cell phone. They didn't allow me to have one at that point. But I went there, and I hadn't contacted him we had a week had gone by, and I felt like I had just got married, that maybe some part of me had to try to make it work. I know it's not clear thinking, but
so you reached out again.
So I reached out. I kept calling but hanging up, or wouldn't say anything, and then finally, he knew it was me, and then he just talked me into it, and then I ended up meeting up with him a couple of times, and then on my birthday I went and met up with him, and then I drank, and then he wanted me to come back.
So when you went back, did he treat you nice?
Not very long.
For how long was the honeymoon period?
Maybe like a week.
And for 1 week you were happy, and then again miserable.
Again miserable, but it was
And so for how long does that relationship last?
Until May when I got pregnant. I tried to run away again. And
give me the time period. So the bad period again, how long?
I left. I came back on March 12th.
March, April, May. So 3 months, let's assume. In between, you get a 3-month period. Then again, you have the courage to run away.
Yep.
And how
This
long?
time, when I ran away, the problem was I was in the same town he was at, so it wasn't going to work. I'd gone to a domestic violence program, another shelter. I was meeting with an advocate about to take domestic violence classes, and she was going through all the things, to ask me about my relationship, and then that's when I was lying about it.
What did he lie about?
Well, they asked me if he was ever physical, or
And you pretended it was not physical.
yeah, because I didn't
Why?
want DCF to know. I was afraid.
In what way DCF knowing would affect you?
Because then it would show that I was unstable and I could never get my kids back.
So for some reason at that point you were thinking you're getting your kids back.
Well, I'm still trying to get my kids back.
So you wanted to pretend as though your life is safe, and you want to. So essentially, you're not thinking about the kids either.
Right.
So even though you're saying you want your kids back, your action proves you're not even safe for yourself.
Right.
So then, something clicks on you, and again you run away.
So when I was sitting there talking to her, I was trying. Actually, that morning I packed my bag, and I was going to leave him. But then on the way to the bus, when I was on the bus, and I called him, he called me, and he was like, I was thinking, okay, we're going to make it work. But when I sat down with her and talked to her about, the abuse or whatever, I finally just caved and cried. And she said that there was an opening over at their domestic violence shelter, which was not even like a 5 or 10-minute drive from where my husband was. And I felt like it was God saying, get away. So I did. I went there, and then he would harass me and tell me, well, if you don't.
How did he track you?
Because I still have my same number.
Oh, so you didn't change it, and you chose to pick up. You didn't block him.
Well, no, because he was sending text messages threatening me. Well, if you don't do this, I'm going to tell them about this, because I was still using. I had been.
You could have blocked him.
Well, no, I could have, but I felt like I was going to make everything more angry. Like I don't. You're not thinking clearly when you're in a domestic situation.
So how long did that harassment last?
So I ended up going back within a month.
Within a month.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you knew it was not good, you went back.
Yeah.
And that's when you.
Because I knew he was going to figure out where I was. Where else was I going to go?
And so you tried to please him by getting pregnant?
Yes. No, I didn't want to get pregnant.
What were you thinking? You were thinking by getting pregnant, your relationship will improve? Like, what is the thinking going on?
Well, yeah, because I thought that he would know that his thing was he always thought I was going to screw somebody else.
So you felt like by giving him another child, or rather, only child he had with you. Is he fathered anybody before?
Yeah, he fathers 2 kids.
So you felt like for some reason in your mind, you're thinking, okay, by being pregnant by him, he's going to leave you alone, be nice.
Yeah. But I knew in the back of the head that nothing would ever be enough.
And this time, the third time around, your brother finally says, you're done.
My brother finally, when I stayed with him for a year. And then by the grace of God, they tried to take Jeremiah from me when I had him, which they couldn't prove that there was any domestic situation going on. Because you never was keeping tight lips about it.
So even though you're being beaten every day.
No, I wasn't being beaten every day.
How frequently? Even now, you're saying you're not beaten every day.
No, because you have to understand, with him, we had physical fights, but a lot of it was a mental. But we did have physical fights. I'd say, I don't know, maybe.
So mental fights, tell me, like how frequently?
Mental control, like
every day.
He wouldn't allow me. No, every day. He would not let me go outside the house. I was never allowed to go anywhere by myself. If I did, it was a very, very, very 2 or 3 times my whole relationship with him. While we were married, he let me go anywhere by myself, and that's because he. So you were on a curfew all the time. Well, I'm locked down in a house. Even at his mother's house, I could never go anywhere. Even if I went anywhere with her, he'd have a big fit about it. I couldn't. He tracked all my phone, everything that was in my phone. Like, I couldn't have Facebook. He made me get rid of it. I couldn't. If one of the shades was to move slightly, he's like, you're looking out the window. I know that you talked to the guy upstairs. Like, if I didn't answer his phone call right away and he was at work and I was at the house, he'd freak out thinking I had some man there. I could never go outside to smoke a cigarette by myself. I had to be watched everywhere I went. I had to make sure that when I was outside, that I never looked at anybody. I always felt like I always had to look at the ground. He'd say, "Oh, you don't have to look at the ground," but if a guy would look at me, he would tell me I had to grill him or tell him off. And I'm like, well, what happens if I'm not looking at him? How am I supposed to know that they're looking at me? His assumption was that I was supposed to. It was a lot of mental abuse. We'd always be arguing, and then at times they would get physical.
And the physical is because you spoke back.
Yeah, I always stuck up for myself because I wasn't gonna just let him sit there and tell me things that weren't about myself, weren't true.
Okay.
You know?
So now your brother somehow visits you.
Well, my brother was able to come over. That was the only relationship I was able to have outside of our
So for
relationship.
some divine reason, he liked your brother,
Well, yeah.
and somehow he felt he could trust him.
Well,
Only relationship who you're allowed to have is your brother.
Right.
So your brother came how frequently to visit you?
Once or twice a month.
So that was the grace that saved you.
Right, because when my brother seen me, my brother thought everything was okay because you don't really want people to know. And anyways, I had a bruise on my face that was healing, but you could still see it. And even though it was like a week old, and then my brother was like, "What the fuck is wrong with that? You know, what's wrong with your face?" And I'm like, "I'll tell you tomorrow," because my brother came to get me to go to my grandfather's funeral.
So your grandfather's soul saved you.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. The Lord, Jesus saved me because Jesus heard my prayers. My
So you're
husband was
praying.
at that point, like he didn't even want me around his own kids. He said that I didn't know how to act around them because if I hugged them, I wanted them. If
Who?
I
The abusive husband.
My husband's children are 16 and 18.
So that's the ex one you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not married now.
No, remember the kid, Jeremiah's
my
father
kids.
is not.
Jeremiah's father's older sons that are not with me. He has a 16 and an 18-year-old
So
child.
if you hug them, he had a problem.
Yeah, he didn't like it. He did not like.
He didn't want you to bond with his family.
He said a long time ago that he did, but he said that if you don't know how to act around my children, then I don't want you to even be around them. I'm like, I'm not a pedophile. He made me feel like I was a pedophile because one time I had I was eating ice cream, and I was going to pick up a wire, so I put the ice cream in my ice cream cone in my mouth, and he thought that I was making a sexual gesture towards his child.
Right.
And which was, nobody would think like that, but he thought like that. Every little thing that I did, like even when his mother's boyfriend would come over, I'd have to hide. If he had anybody who come over in the house, I'd have to hide in my house. I couldn't come out and talk to everybody because then it was I was being too friendly or whatever. Even if I was to cook in the kitchen, in he had people in the living room because our living room was attached to the kitchen. Like I had, it's like I had to hide even while cooking. Like, and he'd yell at me for that. And I just go in the room and I cry. Like, I felt every little thing I ever did was wrong. I wanted everybody. And it was trying to tell, or if I got spam in my email, it was that, oh, well, it says, sometimes you get spam, it's like some like pornography, or you get spam that says, I guess I got spam that said, "Are you a lonely wife?" He's like, "So see, I know you're going on a dating site, and I know that you're talking to somebody, and I'm going to catch you one of these days." And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'd be more scared to death than to do any of that. One time we were at a Suboxone clinic, and you know how you have to check in? Well, there was a guy there that he didn't like, so he would always check in for me because we both went to Suboxone. So every time he would take my blood pressure or anything like that, I always had to look at the ground. And even if the guy would talk to me, because he would talk to me, my husband thought I was flirting with him. And when we left that day, we go down the street and he's telling me I'm flirting with the guy or whatever, and he fucking punches me right in the face. And people are like, "Oh, you want me to call the cops?" I'm like, "No, it's just my husband."
So at what point you realize he wants you to look at the ground? Is it like a perception here?
Well, yeah, I felt like that because every time I looked up,
he would
accuse me of something. You accuse me, "Oh, you looked at that guy," and I'd be like, "I didn't even look over." If I look over here and there's a guy over here, and I look over there, he thinks that I'm looking at him. Or if a guy was to look at me, he says a man will only go as far as a woman will let him. So he thought if anybody looked at me, I had to have looked at them. So I would look at the ground, so I would avoid everything like that. But even when I would look at the ground, he would say, "Oh, you did this, or you did that, or you did this." And so I never even want that part of me never even want to leave the house.
But you never brought it to his attention.
Oh, I did. I did.
Do I need to look at the ground? And what was his answer?
He's like, I told you to know that you don't have to look at the ground, but you need to learn to know how to grill people. You need to know how.
And his way of grilling is what?
Like I had to give people a dirty look to
Oh.
prove that I had our love, but I was always so afraid to even, how am I supposed to lift up my head and grill anybody when yet you're gonna accuse me of flirting with them or looking
So
at
essentially,
them?
he's saying you need to stand up for yourself with others, but not with him. He had like two different rules.
Well, he wanted
one rule for the society, one rule for him, right?
He wanted me all to himself, and he didn't want nobody to come in between what
I know. But what I'm saying is the same, whatever his suggestion he's doing to others, you're doing with him, but he had a problem. Whereas he doesn't have a problem applying that rule to others, right?
Well,
do you understand what I'm saying?
I mean, of course he wants me to look at him. He's my husband. He doesn't.
It's not about looking. It's about talking back, like grilling, right? He would rather you not grill him, but grill others, right?
Well, of course, because that's my husband. He wants me to show
love. You are not understanding where I'm getting at. What I'm saying is he gave you a rule that had two parts to it. The rule would only apply to the world, but you cannot use your rule with him.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that itself is diabolical.
His mother even had to get into, I don't know.
His mother, what did she say about all this?
She would stick up for me, and that he hated that. He always felt like that his mother was more of my mother than his own mother. When I was pregnant, he was drinking and going off on a tangent. I can't even remember for what. We fought all the time. But he came and he attacked me, and he had me down to the ground after he hit me, and his mother gets in between because he was going to kick me, keep kicking me in the face. And instead, she ended up taking that blow from me. And I remember running out of the house and running to this place, some church, and it says, "Do you need a miracle?" And I took a picture of it because I was like, "Yes, Lord, I do. I need a miracle. I need to get out of this situation." But I didn't know how. I didn't know.
No, the thing that boggles my mind, right? You are so strong and you are so beautiful in my eyes. And you put up this crap for 20 months.
I know.
This is crazy.
But that's what made me stronger.
I know.
If I didn't go through all that, I never cared about myself like I do now because I had so much taken away from me, like to even the littlest things. Like sometimes I couldn't even go to the bathroom in peace because he'd want to know what I was doing. Like to have everything on all your, the things that we take for granted, so much stripped from you. So when I left, I grew this unappreciation for things that I wasn't going to waste my life anymore because my life was always about drugs and even though I had a period of time that I had gotten sober before that, but I ended up going back to that because I never felt worth anything. I tried to get sober for my kids.
That's my hint.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. So the reason I'm laughing is because I put up with it for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17 years I lived it. That's the reason I'm laughing because when I'm looking at you, you were smart to get out at 18 months. I put up with it for 17 years. Not because we don't know any better. It's because we believe we can save somebody, which is so stupid. That's the reason I went through, and eventually I went and got ordained in India. I became a saint because really what the miracle was, I was willing to even give up my soul. But one thing I knew was I never can lose my soul in this relationship. So just like you, I decided to marry God, and I decided to live God's life. That's the only way to stop. Even now I'm married to this person. He is very loving. Their rules are very different than us. And I love him. I love him still, but I live a spiritual life. It never ends. Even like last week, I worked 106 hours, or maybe the week before. Then I go to the hospital because we do custodial relationship. I'm telling you all this. I'm still living it, but I have come to a very powerful place in my life. And I came home after 106 hours of work, and he flips out because there were three bags of dirt near the garage. And he says, if I don't clean it up, he's going to throw it out. And I worked from 9:30 to 12:30, another 3 hours before I put myself to bed. This I bought because I wanted to build a park in my home. I got it without his permission, so it was out. So I came and redid it here. It took me 2 days to put together because I always feel homeless. When I put this box together, it made me come home, and I was thinking that's what I want to teach people, how to create their own micro shelter. Because when you build something, you really feel you came home, and he threw it out. So I came here. And actually, my friend came to visit. It was my day with kids last Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday is my day with kids. Monday, Tuesday is my husband's day with kids. My middle son calls me and he says, Mom, can I have friends over? I said, sure. And my friend from Taiwan came to visit me. I wanted to have tea with her. I was not allowed to. I said, can I sit in the tree house, near the tree house and have? No. I said, but can you give me little space in our yard? He says, yes, but you're not allowed to bring friends over because you didn't plan it. And I said, at what point would you allow me my own space? He says, under the treehouse, there's a little space where there's a lot of right now pots and pans. He says, that's the space I can hang out, but only by myself. I'm not allowed to hang. Like he did structure one yard. He says, that's my space. But, so I said, other areas, would you take care? No, no, that's common area. I need to prune it first before I get on my project. Can I build my own pergola? I can sit and do whatever I want, meditation stuff. No, because I haven't shown results that the other part of the yard is clean. Until then, I cannot get my own space. So that's my life. I choose to live that way. And it's a dysfunctional relationship. But because I speak up, I'm not accepting that I'm in an abusive relationship because you need to understand how to hold the power. Power
But
is
he
what.
never, my husband never allowed me to have any of that. No matter how bad I tried to take that power,
That's right.
never could
So
have it.
what I'm saying is, my rule was, if you ever touch me in anger, I'm leaving you.
Right.
So I made that clear because once he dragged me by my hand, I said, if you ever touch me by anger, I'm not accepting it. So my rules, I stick to it. And then when my friend couldn't come over, because it's my day, I told, hey, what do you guys want for dinner? They wanted pizza and stuff. So I paid them $35. Me and my friend, we went to Acapulco. We had the best dinner ever. See, the thing is, you need to hold your ground. It doesn't matter whether I went and brought another property. I own another property. So the thing is, it's not about him giving you power. It's like you never ever tell him he's the boss. See, that's where I'm trying to let you know. You needn't have looked at the ground. When he plays you, you are indirectly accepting those roles.
Right.
So that's where the difference is. The difference is not because he's treating you a certain way. You're using a method doesn't work. So you need to make it work for you. And thank God.
I don't think any woman could get that way.
Yeah. No, that's because you didn't have the right tools. But what I'm saying is, now that you know you have the right tools, I'm so proud of you. You got out, you're doing so well. So at what point you lost custody? Let's get back to the custody part.
I lost
the reconciliation part was taken out when?
Yeah, in a year later, a year after losing custody, which was I lost custody of kids in October 2014. By October 2015, they told me that they were going to try to adopt the kids, and so I've been on this adoption track for this long.
And so now permanently you cannot get your kids back?
Well, I don't I'm fighting that. September 6th, I go back to court, and
This September.
in October, I have trial. So there's a possibility that the judge will.
So what
rule in
I'm
favor.
saying is, you really, since this is your focus,
Yeah.
and now thankfully, like you went through shelter again. You got Jeremiah. You got now the bondage back. You don't have the ex-husband in your plate anymore. So you're doing all the right thing. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. But what I'm saying is, I still live it, but I never ever let him get to me. We were going to a movie, and he said to me that I need to meditate. So in the movie, I sat down and I closed my eyes, meditated for 2 hours. And then when he got out, my kids, don't even pay attention sometimes to what is going on. It's amazing. They're grown up boys. And then when I invited for movie again, I told him, hey, do you want me to go to movie to meditate? I would rather not. I play him exactly like he plays me. The thing is, you need to understand how to come across as very powerful. And it doesn't matter whether it's a husband, a situation, or a judge, or that's what I'm going to train you, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to train you so you don't ask for that permission. You demand. And that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to come with you. If in case you need help, we'll go to court with you, okay? You got me. I got your back.
I appreciate that.
Okay? And you're not walking alone anymore. You got me.
I appreciate that.
Okay?
Yes.
I promised you that.
I appreciate.
Yeah. I love you.
No, I love you too.